Welcome to Klepper's Corner. Today in Weird History, July 10th edition. Buckle in, folks, because this is the one day on the calendar that looks at the rest of the year and says, hold my tomato. Segment 1, the Great Tomato Trial. Today in 1820, Colonel Robert Gibbon Johnson did the unthinkable. No, he didn't streak through town or start a TikTok in powdered wig cosplay. He ate a tomato in public. In Salem, New Jersey, this was the equivalent of chugging antifreeze on the courthouse steps. People thought tomatoes were poisonous, like real deal Satan in a fruit poisonous. So what did Johnson do? He strutted into a literal trial against tomatoes and pulled off the ultimate flex, ate a whole basket of them on the courthouse steps, with a crowd watching, fully expecting his face to melt off like he was in an Indiana Jones film. But instead of keeling over in a frothy acidic death, Johnson just walked away, alive. Suddenly, the crowd's brain fog lifted like a scene from The Matrix. Tomatoes were not poison. They were delicious. And just like that, marinara sauce was born. The takeaway? Nothing kills hysteria faster than a guy in a cravat eating a fruit like it's popcorn. Segment 2. The Scopes Monkey Trial. In 1925, we had another trial, and this one was far more bananas, literally. John Scopes was put on trial for teaching evolution in Dayton, Tennessee, a place that took Genesis more literally than IKEA furniture instructions. On one side, William Jennings Bryan, the three-time presidential loser who is clinging to the Bible like it was a flotation device. On the other, Clarence Darrow, legal bulldog, atheist, and possessor of the world's most aggressive eyebrow furrow. Darrow did something wild. He called Bryan to the stand as a witness for the defense. It was like asking the guy running the dunk tank to explain fluid dynamics. And then, plot twist, Darrow asked the jury to find his client guilty, just so he could appeal. It was the legal equivalent of saying, yes, Your Honor, I robbed the bank. Now let's talk about the real crime, your interest rates. Scopes got a $100 fine, Bryan got mocked into the afterlife, and the world got a taste of courtroom drama so spicy it would have made Judge Judy sweat. Segment 3. Death Valley's record Inferno, July 10, 1913. Death Valley, California, 134 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not weather, that's an oven preheating to murder. You know it's hot when even Satan says, too warm for me. This was the highest reliably recorded temperature in the U.S. and one of the highest on Earth. At 134 degrees, even your thoughts start to sweat. Shade? Just a slightly less awful sauna. Water boils in your hands. Air, crispy. And despite all of this, there were people out there, probably in wool socks, saying, dry heat isn't that bad. Dry heat, so's a crematorium. It was a record-breaking day for heat, dehydration, and maybe the world's shortest outdoor jog. Climate change skeptics, take note. We've been sizzling since before air conditioning, and fossil fuel lobbyists became a package deal. Segment 4, Telstar 1 and the accidental nuke. In 1962, Telstar 1 launched. It was our first communication satellite, bringing us international TV, transatlantic calls, and hope for humanity's interconnected future. Then we nuked it. Not on purpose, of course, but the U.S. detonated a nuclear bomb in space, a test called Starfish Prime, because nothing says peaceful future like starfish and megatons. The resulting radiation created an artificial death belt that fried satellites faster than you can say government oversight. Telstar 1 was the pride of international tech, until it got nuked by the same government that launched it. It's like inventing the internet, then deleting it all to see what happens. This wasn't just a technical mishap, it was the universe reminding us that science, like comedy, is all about timing. Segment 5, New Coke's epic fail. Yes, 1985, Coca-Cola, in a moment of sheer corporate hubris, decided, you know what people hate? The thing they love. Let's change that. So they rolled out New Coke, sweeter, smoother, and hated more than Jar Jar Binks. Public reaction was swift, outrage, protests, boycotts. People acted like the soda had personally slapped their grandma. After just 79 days, Coca-Cola surrendered. They brought back the original and called it Coca-Cola Classic. Because nothing says marketing redemption like a rebrand with the subtlety of a toddler saying, just kidding. New Coke became a textbook case in corporate overreach. The lesson? Nostalgia is stronger than flavor. And if you mess with people's soda, expect a revolution. Segment 6, Cher's 10-day marriage. On July 10th, 1975, Cher filed for divorce from Greg Allman, 10 days after getting married. 10 days. That's not a marriage, that's a romantic flash sale. Their wedding had all the magic of a DMV appointment. Even Cher later admitted it was basically a bad idea in motion. Her sister looked at her like she had announced she was marrying a stapler. Sure, celebrity marriages are short, but this was warp speed annulment energy. It made Kim Kardashian look like a long-term planner. The moral? If you're going to rebound, maybe wait until your divorce papers from Sonny Bono stop steaming. Segment 7, the Seviso disaster. In 1976, a factory in Seviso, Italy, released a cloud of dioxin. Invisible, odorless, toxic. Basically, the worst type of fart. Thousands of animals died, people developed chemical burns, pregnant women had to make heartbreaking choices, and it took weeks before the company even admitted when it happened. It was a turning point in environmental policy. Europe responded with stricter safety laws, known as the Seviso directives, because nothing says we should probably regulate this like a giant invisible poison cloud. The factory may be gone, but the disaster left a legacy. Trust no one with a lab coat and a PR team. Segment 8. The Rainbow Warrior sinking state-sponsored sabotage, 1985. You know your day has gone off the rails when your peaceful protest ship gets bombed by another country's government. On July 10th, 1985, French operative blew up the Rainbow Warrior in New Zealand harbor to stop Greenpeace from protesting French nuclear tests. I mean, talk about overkill. France could have just sent a sternly worded letter or, not tested nuclear bombs in the first place. But instead, they pulled off an actual act of state terrorism. It's like if your HOA got annoyed at your lawn signs and decided to airstrike your minivan. The attack killed photographer Fernando Pereira, sparking international outrage and one of the most embarrassing diplomatic scandals in modern French history. New Zealand, generally famous for sheep and Lord of the Rings, suddenly found itself at the center of a geopolitical dumpster fire. The French agents were eventually caught because apparently committing sabotage with your passports in your pockets isn't exactly the hallmark of espionage brilliance. This fiasco cemented Greenpeace's reputation as a fearless force and exposed the petty vindictiveness of powerful nations that feel threatened by a boat full of environmentalists. And yes, it forced France to cough up reparations, although no amount of money quite compensates for the PR nightmare of sinking a ship called the Rainbow Warrior. Segment 9, Fred Baldesari's Underwater English Channel Swim, 1962. July 10th must be a magnet for feats of weird endurance, because in 1962, Fred Baldesari decided swimming the English Channel wasn't enough of a challenge. He had to do it entirely underwater. That's 42 miles, 18 hours, and one extremely pruny set of toes. This wasn't some quick dunk. He stayed submerged for nearly an entire day. It's the kind of thing that makes you wonder if he lost a bet, or maybe he was just trying to avoid paying the ferry fare. The underwater channel swim is such a specific and peculiar goal. It's as if he woke up and thought, I'd like to set a record nobody else will ever try to break. Mission accomplished, Fred. Of course, this kind of feat paved the way for modern endurance sports and adventure challenges. Because once you hear about a guy swimming to France without surfacing, a marathon suddenly seems downright sensible. It also highlights that unique brand of human ambition that insists on transforming a nearly impossible task into a completely insane one. Just because. And honestly, I respect it. Sort of, from a safe distance, on dry land. Segment 10, Nikola Tesla's death ray and other fantastical claims, born July 10th, 1856. Finally, let's wrap up with the birthday boy of weird history himself, Nikola Tesla, born on July 10th, 1856. Tesla was a genius who gave us alternating current, radio, and more, but he also spent his later years pitching ideas that sounded suspiciously like supervillain plans. Most famously, he claimed he'd built a death ray capable of vaporizing an entire army at 250 miles. And while he never produced a working model or any credible evidence, that didn't stop newspapers from breathlessly reporting it as though he was about to build the world's first death laser in a Manhattan studio apartment. Tesla's death ray shows how thin the line can be between brilliance and mad science. The same mind that electrified cities also conjured visions of doomsday weapons and wireless power transmitted across the globe, all in the same breath. Even today, conspiracy theories cling to Tesla's name like static electricity. Every time someone in a YouTube comment says the government stole his papers, part of Tesla's legend grows a little weirder. But you can't deny whether he was revolutionizing technology or fantasizing about particle beams. He made sure nobody ever called him boring. In conclusion, the enduring allure of history's strange footnotes. July 10th proves that history is more than dusty textbooks and dignified speeches. It's also a parade of surreal stunts, ill-fated marriages, corporate fiascos, and dreams that bordered on delusion. From the depths of Death Valley to the absurdity of New Coke, this day reminds us that the human story is always a little stranger and a lot more entertaining than we expect. So next time you look at the calendar and wonder if today will be special, remember, every date has the potential to be absolutely, gloriously bizarre. And that's why we keep digging into these curious chronicles, because the weirdness of history is never done surprising us.